Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Rampage, August 27th, 2021 review. This was an okay show for an hour. Anyway, if it was 2 hours, it would have been real shit. Thank God this was only an hour. But the action for the main event was pretty damn good. Brandon Cutler and Kenny Omega teamed together against Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian in a tag team match. We also got the finals to the tag team tournament to crown the number one contender to face the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team titles in the steel cage match for All Out. This is going to be a great match. Bottom line, the winners of the finals was the Lucha Brothers. This match was excellent. Could have been the main event. It was actually the best match on the entire card, in my personal opinion. We had the Bunny, aka Ali, who used to go by that name in Impact Wrestling. The Bunny went up against Tayante. This matchup wasn't all that big of a deal. This was probably piss poor. It should have been on a fucking dark show. This was fucking garbage. It really killed the show, in my personal opinion. I did not like this match whatsoever. Tayante really was very hesitant in the ring, trying to be very careful of not hurting her opponent Bunny in, like doing moves where she bounced off the ropes while she had the Bunny in the corner. She tried to hit her in the head and with her feet, doing big boots to the face in the corner. She really was trying to avoid from causing any injury, which is nice, but also make it flow properly. She didn't exactly feel like she was doing that. She felt a little out of place, in my personal opinion. Felt a little like she was very hesitant in what she was trying to do in the match. So like I said, the flow of the match was not that good. The Bunny is not exactly a good wrestler either. I don't know what happened to her, but in Impact Wrestling, I didn't see her as that bad of a performer. She wasn't the greatest, I'll tell you that much, but she has really dropped in style of wrestling and performance. I think her performances since she's moved to AEW has been terrible. But bottom line, this was probably the worst thing on the show. If anything, they should have just had this off the show. There was also a promo for CM Punk and Darby Allin hyping up their match between the two of them for All Out. I thought we were going to see a face-to-face confrontation. Apparently that is going to take place at Dynamite this coming Wednesday. More than likely, I would hope so. I would hope to see them like doing a contract signing, a face-to-face, promo with one another at least. Hear Darby Allin make some comments about CM Punk and his thoughts on him, that kind of thing. So I hope we get to see that before All Out. We might see that at next week's Rampage, possibly. If that's the case, I'm fine with that. But I hope it's on Dynamite, because Dynamite has a larger audience to actually view the show. Now, if they actually come out and say, look, hey, these two guys are going to be talking face-to-face just before the pay-per-view on Sunday for September 5th, then I think Rampage will definitely get those people to show up like they did for last week's episode. Personally, I don't think Rampage is going to hit 1 million like they did last week's Rampage on the 20th. Simply because CM Punk was not there, number one. Number two, there was nothing special that took place on this show. It was a decent show. I'm not saying it was terrible or anything. And there was some build-up going into the pay-per-view with this episode. You had Kenny Omega and Christian Cage hype up for their world title match, which was very nice. I thought the way they ended the match with Brandon Cutler eating the pinfall and the loss for the team was actually rather good. I actually found that extremely entertaining. So good stuff overall. I think it was a decent show. It wasn't the best show in the world. I think last week's Rampage was great. I think the debut Rampage was amazing. But My issue with the show, it didn't have any major hype up to it, but then again, this is a 1 hour show, number one. Number two, it's not the premiere show like Dynamite. This is just to give us something to watch on a Friday night in case there's wrestling fans that are interested in watching the show at, on a Friday night and they got nothing else better to do around 10 o'clock. I think this was an overall decent show. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. So that was pretty much it. That was the show overall in a nutshell. Nothing much to talk about here. I know this is a short review. You probably would be saying, what the fuck are you doing, man? This has only gone on for about 5 minutes or so, and you're already turning the damn video off? What the fuck's wrong with you? Well, I mean, there's nothing to really heavily talk about. That's the reason why. But if you really want to get down and dirty about this show, I loved the tag team wrestling with fucking Jurassic Express and Lucha Brothers. Those two guys performed great. This should have been the main event of Rampage. This should have been the last match we saw on the show, because this match was awesome. I mean, highly entertaining. It felt like it could have been on a pay-per-view card. It was that good. It was overall good action there in that match. The Lucha Brothers win the matchup. Lucha Brothers are facing the Young Bucks for the tag team titles inside of a steel cage on September 5th. I'm looking forward to that match. I think that match should be the opener to the show. If you guys disagree, please let me know why you disagree with the idea, because I think that's a great way to kickstart the show and get the fans red hot and ready for for the pay-per-view itself. So I think this match would actually get that entire show over with that match alone. And then immediately after that match would be Big Show versus QT Marshall. I think that would be the best place for that match. That way we could get that match over with. I'm sure the crowd will be kind of tired from all the cheering they did during the steel cage match. You put that match on, people can go for a piss break, forget about fucking Paul White and QT Marshall competing in the middle of the ring. Nobody's going to care about going ahead and seeing good old Big Show going, raising his hand up in the air, screaming at the top of his lungs like he did back in the day. I mean, nobody gives a fuck. Do I like Big Show? Yes. I like Paul White, Big Show, whatever way you want to call him nowadays, since he's no longer part of WWE. I like the name Big Show. I thought it was a good name. It's kind of cool. But he goes by Paul White. And, I mean, yeah, it's cool to see him in another atmosphere of professional wrestling, but bottom line, is he really necessary? No, he's not. I'd prefer him on commentary. I've heard him on commentary. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He is not bad on commentary. I think that's where he belongs, man. He doesn't need to wrestle anymore. He's done his job. He's excelled in what he had as a big man, and he has done some amazing things as in his wrestling career as the Big Show, the Giant, whatever way you want to look at him. He's done some really good stuff in his career. He had a lot of limitations as a professional wrestler, and bottom line, I mean, he's even excelled with the limitations that he had. So him being back in the ring isn't all that exciting to me. Be on the commentary. That's a good fit for you because you don't need to do anymore. You've done your part. You've contributed to the wrestling business. Why he has to continue to wrestle, I have no idea. And I don't think too many people are very happy about him performing at this all-out pay-per-view. Personally, I don't even think this match belongs on the pay-per-view card. It should be on a Dynamite episode. We get to see him wrestle for like 5 minutes. Bury fucking QT Marshall. Forget about him. We move on to the next segment of Dynamite at some point down the line in that show. Wherever it takes place on Dynamite. Whether it's in the middle, the very beginning, what have you. But bottom line, I don't think UT Marshall and Paul White should be in the main card even for All Out. I would say, fucking, the pre-show, I'd be fine with that, but they're having a battle royale for that. So, I don't know, man. I just don't feel comfortable with that. Let's go over the rest of the card that we got here that I can remember off the top of my head. We got they went over the entire card on Rampage. We got Chris Jericho, MJF, very important match. This match is possibly the last match we will ever see Chris Jericho be able to perform in. The big question is, who do you have win? Because I don't know if Jericho is truly retiring. I haven't heard any rumors about him being interested in retiring from in-ring competition. So I'm not quite sure on where to go with this. My heart wants Jericho to win, but I know deep down the true benefit or the true thing that should happen for AEW to do here to benefit their roster for the younger talent is MJF needs to go over. He needs to win this match. He needs to bury Chris Jericho, and he needs to literally own his ass. Jericho keeps wanting it. He keeps wanting it. And now he's got to put his career on the line. He's going to get what he wants again. He's going to lose. So, personally, I don't see Jericho wrestling ever again. I think this is his retirement match. I think this kind of sucks at the same time. But, hey, what are you going to do, man? This is 2 years after he won the world, became the first AEW world champion. And now, this could be his last match he ever has. That's pretty fucking crazy shit. So, hopefully, maybe they could do something that helps MJF in defeat. But I clearly think that MJF is going to win this match. Just my opinion. Alright, what else we got on this card? We got Jon Moxley against a Japanese wrestler, Shitangi, I believe the name is. It's an old school wrestler. I've seen him before. Forgot his fucking name. Damn it. Oh well, I don't have my computer up to see all the names and shit that's on this card, so I apologize. But Jon Moxley's winning this match easily, hands down. He ain't losing at an all-out pay-per-view. That's just fucking garbage. This is a lackluster freaking opponent for Jon Moxley to have to face. I think he should have been facing Tanahashi for the IWGP US Championship, which really sucks. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Miro was on the show tonight. He actually attacked a Fiego. He was attacked, beat the shit out of him, took off his mask even. Fiego tried to cover up his face, got kicked in the mouth while his hands were covering his face, and kept his hands on his face the entire time. You could not see his face. The only thing you could see is the top of his head. That's pretty fucking crazy. Managed to cover his face the whole entire time. So good job on his end of covering up his true identity, the way he looks underneath the mask and everything. So kudos to him on that. Unfortunately got his ass kicked again. I don't know what the hell the big deal is about this guy Fiego. He ain't that big of a fucking deal, man. But Eddie Kingston came out. He came to save the day and protect this kid from getting any more of a beatdown than he already did. And we may see Kingston versus Miro for the TNT Championship at All Out. I would be okay with that match being added to the card. I think that would be a really cool idea on their part to do that match. So kudos to them if they do. CM Punk, Darby Allin. Oh, that's a tough one to choose. Who the hell is going to win that match? I have no fucking idea. That's a fucking rough match to choose from. Both Darby Allin and CM Punk, and the MJF Chris Jericho match is probably the toughest matches to even make a prediction on who's going to win that match. Because either way it could go. Either way. I'm going to go, though, with MJF on that. With CM Punk, Darby Allin, I think I'm going to go with Darby Allin on this. Possibly. But I'm saying to myself, maybe they're going to have CM Punk go over because it's his first match back. Darby Allin's been pretty well built up. The only thing missing from his humongous push that he's been getting lately is a world championship. That's the only thing left that he needs at this point to solidify his career. Or not solidify his career, but solidify him as a main event player. Other than that, Darby Allin has done pretty much everything you can think of as a performer in AEW to say he's one of those new uprising stars that should be a main eventer. So that's the only thing he's missing from his whole push that he's got right now. And I think we'll probably see him as AEW World Champion very soon, probably by next year, more than likely. I think 2022 will be his year. I think Darby Allin will go on to defeat MJF at some point down the line in that year. I think Hangman Page will win the World Championship from Kenny Omega. I still say Kenny Omega is going to retain that championship against Christian Cage. There ain't no fucking way in hell you're going to pass the title on to Christian Cage and not have done that for Hangman Page. That would be totally dirty to do to fucking Hangman Page. I really think that would be terrible. They've already had a bunch of well-established wrestlers carry that AEW World Championship. It's time to go to someone who's never had a World Championship in any promotion anywhere in the world, and that's Hangman Page. MJF would be another person I would add to the mix of winning that World Championship immediately after Hangman Page won that title. So I'd say by Revolution that we should see Hangman Page lose the championship to MJF in like February or early March of next year. So that's when I think that title change should happen. But yeah, I really think that's the progression they should go with. Personally, I think Hangman Page's win should take place at the September 22nd Dynamite show in front of a Asher Stadium in the New York. So I definitely see that taking place more than likely, and I hope that's what happens, because Hangman Page definitely needs an opportunity to shine in a promotion such as like AEW. He's done a lot for Ring of Honor. He did a lot for New Japan Wrestling. Never really owned any major world championship in either promotion, and I think this is the place where he needs to start. Most definitely. So, Kenny Omega, Christian Cage is the other match. I might be missing a few matches that I don't remember off the top of my head. So if I did miss those matches, I do apologize. I may go ahead and do a preview and predictions video sometime next week, just to clarify the entire card in case I missed anything here. So if I have, I again apologize about that. But bottom line, guys, this is looking like a very good card, very stacked card, may I add. Except for a few matches here and there, I think this has been an excellent card they made up in the last couple of months leading into this pay-per-view. So kudos to them. Kudos to all the hype up they built around this pay-per-view as well with CM Punk. There's rumor going around from bodyslam.net, I believe it was. It was a link that my friend sent me through text stating that there's a possibility Bryan Danielson, I can't believe it, I fucking said it this time instead of Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson will be making his debut into AEW on All Out. That's the rumored decision on where they're going to debut him. I disagree with the idea, if that is true anyway. Again, this is rumors. It ain't fact yet. But if that is true, I don't agree with the idea because, one, they have made no mention that there will be a new star showing up into AEW. So I don't know how that's supposed to go. I don't think that is a very good idea. I think that kind of announcement that there is going to be a person showing up into AEW would be the better decision. Now, people, some people may come on here and debate this with me. Well, what about CM Punk? He wasn't announced. Bullshit, he wasn't announced. It wasn't announced in the sense of announcing it. They gave you hints, they gave you clues that CM Punk was going to show up at Rampage. They announced it without even officially announcing it. It's a unique way of announcing there was going to be a new superstar by giving you clues of who the hell they're trying to talk about to convince you to tune in for that episode to go see a guy that you haven't seen in 7 fucking plus years. Okay? So that is basically what they were trying to do there. They were trying to do a unique way of introducing you to the idea that there was going to be a person showing up at that show without saying there is an announcement that there is a new superstar showing up. They were trying to make it look special. Daniel Bryan, really, they haven't given you a whole lot of clues except for the one fact that the fans were chanting, yes, 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 on Dynamite this past Wednesday, and CM Punk said that's somebody else's stick, and you're going to have to wait for that just a little bit longer. Now, they didn't really make any mention that they're announcing he's coming into AEW when he was supposed to come into AEW, just saying he's going to show up at some point. So, to me, that's kind of a dumb idea to do that with it being unannounced. If you want to do it in the same way CM Punk was done, by all means, go for it. I'm all for that. But to just, throw him onto the pay-per-view, no announcement, no nothing, I don't know if that's a great idea. Maybe it is. I could be wrong. I mean, him showing up on All Out and then people watching the pay-per-view or hear that he showed up at the pay-per-view and couldn't afford to pay for the pay-per-view. I totally understand. Maybe that will bring a lot more viewers to watch Dynamite on Wednesday, which, don't get me wrong, is a possibility. It's definitely a strong way to go. But I think it's best to maybe make the announcement that someone is showing up into AEW. We got a list of names that we know about that's probably going to show up in AEW anyway. We got Adam Cole, baby. We got fucking Bray Wyatt, which he's not supposed to show up until another 3 months from now or so. So he wouldn't be the guy you'd be able to predict is going to show up. But Adam Cole's one of them. Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever way you want to say it. I like Daniel Bryan better than Bryan Danielson, but whatever. Those two names are pretty big. You got Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy ain't one of those big names. So I don't think people will get super excited over a Buddy Murphy showing up on AEW. He'd be best to introduce for a Battle Royale type of situation. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I prefer the announcement that he's showing up on Dynamite. You get to see him. You get, you know it's coming. Something like that. But, hey, if they choose All Out, there's no harm, no foul. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that because then people are going to hear about it who didn't get to watch the pay-per-view. They're going to know that that happened, and they're going to be like, holy shit, I need to watch Dynamite. So, with all that being said, I'm a person that would like the idea that there's an announcement that there's somebody showing up. We get to see him come in. He speaks his mind. He says what he has to say. We lead into him, possibly facing someone down the road in a major program. And then we get to see him perform at that pay-per-view for that matchup that they had him set up for. So, it's a give and take type of situation. I mean, I don't think there's any harm in him showing up, but I don't think it's really necessary for him to show up at All Out. I think the main focus should be what's been already done on this card. Get through this card. Do what's right for this card. Give your all-out best performances by each match. Get this crowd super excited, happy, and make them go home with a smile on their face. That's all they need to do. They don't need to do any more surprises into the show. Will it help give a loud reaction? Absolutely, yes. But is it necessary? No. I don't think it's absolutely necessary that Daniel Bryan has to show up on All Out. Plain and simple. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of the Rampage episode. I will be uploading a video for SmackDown tomorrow. I'm going to try to watch SmackDown tonight before I go to sleep. And then I'll give you guys the review on Saturday in the afternoon after I get done with what I got to do around here. And let you guys know how I felt about that show. I watched the introduction of the show with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. Not so smart. I think they kind of ruined both of those two women. And I'll explain in more detail on the SmackDown review. So I'll leave it at that. And you guys hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, of course. And as always, leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. I thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great night, guys. Bye.